About a month ago, DJI launched a new intelligent tracking module for its RS4 range of camera gimbals, which gives them the ability to follow people as they move around, without the need for a cameraman. Now the thing is, I already had this RS3 gimbal with its tracking device called the Raveneye. So the question is, which tracks people better? The Raveneye or the intelligent tracking module? And is it worth upgrading from an RS3 to an RS4 just for the tracking? Well, let's find out. One of the drawbacks of being a gadget and tech YouTuber is that it's eye-wateringly expensive. The thing is, I'm just as interested in the tech I use to make films as any of the gadgets I review, and I just can't seem to stop myself from buying more gear. In fact, I've probably spent at least £100 billion more on my camera gear habit than on the gadgets I review. Now, some of my camera gear I simply couldn't live without, but quite a lot of it just ends up gathering dust. And so it's been with camera gimbals so far. For the uninitiated, camera gimbals iron out the movement of your hands while you're filming, transforming video footage shot with a handheld camera from being all jerky to cinematically silky smooth. But before you film anything, you have to balance the gimbal, which is very nearly completely and utterly bloody impossible. Then you have to learn the technique of filming with them, which involves walking around with your camera looking a bit like John Cleese on an off night. Let's just say I didn't get very far with it. But then DJI launched the Raveneye, this little black box on the bottom which transmits the video feed from your camera to your iPad and also enables Active Track, a tracking system which makes the gimbal keep the camera pointing at the subject. Brilliant, I thought. I can stop trying to persuade Mrs. Gadget to become a budget cameraman or camera lady and use one of these instead. And it would make it so much easier for me to film a shot orbiting around a product I'm reviewing. The problem was that the Raveneye here turned out to be a bit clunky. It would track a bit and then just get bored and give up. And so I'd end up having to retake the same shot 400 times more than if I'd just put the camera on a bloody tripod. Then DJI launched this intelligent tracking module. But the problem is, it doesn't fit on the RS3, so I'd have to upgrade the gimbal I didn't use to a newer gimbal I probably won't use, except to put it on display with the rest of my collection of unused gimbals. Anyway, it's arrived, so let's just go and see whether this thing tracks a subject better than its predecessor. Right, for the purpose of this test, I've got the two cameras sitting side by side on a pair of tripods, and I've reset the gimbal settings on both gimbals to their default values. So for the Raveneye, that's transmitting a signal from the camera, so I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but in order to activate the tracking, all I have to do is put a square around whatever it is I want to track, which in this case is my head. And there's a little bit of wobble on that, not quite sure why, but that's now started. On the other side, I've got the new intelligent tracking module, and to activate that, all I have to do is stick my hand up. There we go. A green light comes on the front, and they're ready to track. So let's just see what happens if I amble off down the garden. I wouldn't expect either of them to have any problem with this, but, and sure enough, yeah, they seem to have followed me. What about if I break into a run, which is something I try and avoid doing very often? Yeah, there we go. In fact, the intelligent tracking module is the camera's disappearing behind the other camera. If I now go behind a tree, the Raveneye has lost me, but if I come back again, look at that, the intelligent tracking module has picked me up again, but the Raveneye hasn't. Yeah, well, let's try something a little bit faster. I'll just go and grab. So, now I'll just reset the Raveneye. There we go, so that's now got me. Let's see which one's still got me by the time I get back. Whoa. Oh. Oh, well, it looks like the intelligent tracking module has still got me, and the Raveneye has again lost me. So, one more test, just get the Raveneye to pick me up again. There it goes. Right. What about if I were to go a little bit further away? Let's see how they cope with that. I'll go and hide behind the shed. And I wouldn't have thought, that's quite a long way away, I wouldn't have thought either of them would be able to keep tracking me. And sure enough, the Raveneye has definitely lost me. And it's not getting me back either. The intelligent tracking, oh, look, that's found me again. I think it lost me for a while, but the Raveneye just completely lost me. So, one last test. I'll just get that centered up again. So, what would happen if I were to suddenly disappear out of view? Which one will keep tracking me? Oh! Well, sure enough, it's the intelligent tracking module that still got me, and the Raveneye has lost me. So I think, so far, it looks like the intelligent tracking module is the clear winner. So there we have it. I think the RS intelligent tracking module here is seriously impressive. It's not completely infallible, but if it loses track of the subject, it does seem to be able to recover in a way that the Raveneye here just can't. And it's all done in this tiny little box that attaches to the top of the gimbal magnetically, without any wires. And the drawbacks? Well, it only tracks people, not objects or cars. That makes sense because there's no integrated video feed, so there's no way of telling it which object you want it to point at. That means it won't help you keep an inanimate object or an animal center frame as you move around it. For that, and for a budget way of transmitting the video feed from your camera to an iPad, you're still stuck with the Raveneye with all its foibles. But is it worth upgrading from the RS3 to the RS4 just for the tracking? Well, you know what? I think it probably is. That and the fact that they've put Teflon on the arms of the new RS4 here, which makes it so much easier to balance the bloody thing. And they've added native vertical shooting. So yeah, go on, buy it. If your gear habit is anything like mine, you know you want it. Before I go, something else I reviewed, which if you like film and photography, you might be interested in, which is the iPhone Photography School. I'll put a link over there, or over there. Till the next time, I've been Arlo Guthrie. Bye-bye.